Alright guys, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to properly soil test for your lawn, your garden, and even where the trees. No two areas on any given property are the same when it comes to soil nutrition, fertilization, weed control, and so forth. In a particular area like this where we have the trees, you have competition between the grass roots as well as the trees taking up the nutrients that are in the soil. So being able to test for the tree areas, the garden areas, and lawn areas are very important to any soil testing program. You can't just simply take a couple of samples from the middle of the lawn and expect it to work around the trees or in the garden area. So follow me and we'll get started and we'll show you how to properly treat the soil. Or first test the soil, then treat the soil for all the nutrients. Guys, now we're going to do a soil sample on the lawn. Sorry I don't have that really cool Scottish accent like the guy from the Scots commercials, the guy with the red hair and all that, who has nothing to do with lawns whatsoever, but is just a character actor. I'm not Scottish in any way. I'm just a kid that grew up in Hawaii and lives here in Idaho now, so no fancy accents. What I want to show you first and foremost is as you go and look at this lawn here, a couple of things off of just a quick observation. You're going to notice that there's different varieties of grasses. Obviously right over here we had somebody come in and probably did a patch. Maybe there's some dogs, maybe there's some rough traffic on it. They went ahead and reseeded it with kind of a hybrid blend and so forth. And then you can see some Kentucky bluegrass, you can see some fescue and so forth. But as you look about, you'll see like little patches, little thicknesses here and there. So what's going on is a lot's going on basically with this lawn. Once again, what's going on is not really up at the surface, but down at the root level and the soil level. So what we're going to do is, a lot of people ask me is what should we sample? Where should we take a sample? Well, you just take a sample from all the different areas. Take a sample right here where it's a little bit greener than the other areas, an area that's dying and so forth. That way you can get down underneath the soil and figure out what's going on with it. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to take a variety of samples just throughout the lawn, and I'll show you the proper way to take it so you don't leave a big divot in your lawn. So one of the first things I'll notice right now is as we go and pull that up, very hard clay soil. Way you can tell clay and so forth is sandy soil and stuff, as you rub against it, is going to break apart a lot easier. Clay soils, as you can see, almost makes that solid and so forth. There's basically those two types of soils, sandy soil and clay soil. We have a lot more clay up here than sandy soil, and they all have a different treatment for both of them. On these clay soils, something to keep in mind is it just takes longer for nutrients, for the pH to come in balance. It'll take a couple years for a clay soil to come into a proper pH balance versus a sandy soil. On the reverse side, a sandy soil requires a lot more irrigation water. So first thing I notice here is very dry, very little water going on right now. Need to increase the water on this property here and get the water flowing. And the reason for that is, as I look around, you can see the spottiness. There is no automatic irrigation system. So this is obviously being done by a hose and so forth. So the first thing they should do is they need to come up with a little bit more water management program to make sure it gets proper water and enough water. Your lawn should never be determined by, oh, I need to get off to the movie or get off to do something else. It needs the water. It's just like, well, I'll feed the kids on Friday. Lawns need a lot of work, a lot of care. But keep in mind, it's one of the first things that everybody sees if you're ever selling your home or curb appeal and so forth. That's why lawns are so important. So I'm just going to take this clump of soil right here, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to use it as one of it because this area is obviously under stress for some reason. This will be a good soil sample to include.